The Chinese New Year, which is January 29th, 2025, is coming soon. Chinese have the tradition of buying goods for this holiday, and every household is busy preparing before the Chinese New Year. Logically speaking, many sales and service industries can make good money in this season, but in the January of 2025, a very abnormal scene occurred. Today is the 15th day of the last month of the lunar year, and all the freezers are deserted. Alas, didn't customers get busy at this time every year? The processed food industry should be very busy, but now it's quiet. The general food processing here is like this, that is, processing several items at a time, such as pear, cake, and apple. One machine can process 5 or 6 kinds of products and then assemble them into a package and send them out. What does this phenomenon prove? Single products cannot be sold well, so we have to mix all varieties in one package. The overall economy is not good. Take a look at the wholesale market. Cherries, cherries, cherries. They are everywhere. There are still many in the hall. 10 pounds of cherries, only $25.70, but people won't buy. This is the market as the Lunar New Year is coming. This is the situation in the fruit market. Look, where are all the people who are buying goods? What should I do about this? Before the Chinese New Year, every household should buy more fruits, but now the fruit market is still fully piled with goods. This lady's store is doing poorly. Now that the Chinese New Year is approaching, everyone is asking about how business is going. In the past, the closer it got to the Chinese New Year, the busier it was, as clients were constantly restocking their stocks. Now, the closer it gets to the Chinese New Year, the slower business is. In such a situation, many store owners go to their hometowns early to celebrate the holiday. In the past, the wholesale market was the busiest time because merchants were busy restocking. However, there are very few people on the market streets now. Everything was closed on January 8th. There was no one on the streets. There was no traffic jam on the whole street. It was completely empty. This is the wholesale market where we used to have a fight to get shipments. It's 8 a.m. now, which is usually the busiest time. Now you can see how deserted it is. Brothers from all walks of life should be able to feel that this year is the most difficult year for business. In previous years, we were still busy preparing stocks, and there was a lot of competition and rushing to ship goods. You see, it's so deserted everywhere this year. Brothers, tell me, what's going on? How many bosses have survived the 3-year pandemic but failed to survive this winter? If nothing unexpected happens, this year should be the worst spring festival for business. Before the Chinese New Year, people usually go to shopping malls to buy something. Now, the large shopping malls in many cities in China have very few customers. This was the coolest shopping mall in Jilin City 10 years ago. Look at it now. My God, there was no one on the 3rd and 4th floors. There are no shops on the 5th and 6th floors anymore, and there are only a few international brands left on the lower floors. I am so shocked. Today is Sunday afternoon. This is a shopping mall in Chengdu high-tech zone. There was no one there, no one in the mall. Many shops that should be closed are closed. Look, we are on the 4th floor now. From the 1st floor to the 4th floors are all closed. Everything here is closed. Many shopping malls in downtown Beijing are closed, and supermarkets like Walmart and Carrefour, almost all are closed. Just at the end of the year, Xidan Shopping Mall also began to close in the name of renovation. I really don't know how long this economic situation will last. Before the Chinese New Year, people go to the barbershop to get their haircutter styled. Now, the barbershop owner encountered such a scene. Look, is there anyone in other stores at this time? It's already 5 p.m. In previous years, the shop would be full of customers at this time. But this year, at this time, I only made $5.50 and only cut 2 people's hair. The air conditioner is on all day. I can't even make any money to pay 1 day's electricity bill. It's almost the 15th of the last month of the lunar year. Every day on my way to work, I pass by a hair salon. No customers there every time I checked. The barbers all stay outside, either eating sunflower seeds or playing poker. At this time, shouldn't the barber be too busy to eat or drink? Look, it's not just one like this. Every barbershop is like this, no matter if it's a high-end or mid-range shop. There's just no clients. However, that old man by the riverside who gives haircuts for only 70 cents per time is quite busy. It seems that people are really out of money. New clothes are the most popular items for Chinese New Year, and people buy them for themselves and their families. This year, the clothing industry is wailing. This year is really done. There are only 20 days left before the Chinese New Year. This should be the busiest time, but it's become the worst month of the same period in history. There is no one in the store and the streets are empty. No one. I can't imagine how devastated those store owners who have inventory worth 28,000 to 41,000 and who have to open their stores every day. I have discovered that people nowadays don't consume anymore. Even the female friends who are the highest consumption group buy new clothes, perm and dye their hair at this time in previous years, and dress up like the rich. Looking at those ladies this year, they are all sloppy. They don't buy clothes or do their hair. They don't have the passion for beauty as in previous years. So if you run a store now and want to keep it well, you will feel discouraged and helpless. Want to lie flat? Looking at these goods in stock, you will realize you are not qualified at all. The female shop owner revealed one reason why the clothing store's business was slow. The smart woman just comes into the store to try the clothes and goes back home to finish the rest of the purchase. Do you know why business is so bad this year? Why is it that as the year draws to a close, the store still has no business? Why do customers come to check it every day, but she just doesn't buy anything? Why is business still so bad? In fact, a very important point is that many people spend money on digital platforms. In the past, when people made money, they would go out to stroll on the streets, buy clothes and eat snacks. Now people don't go out, they just stay at home and shop online for food and daily necessities. They can stay at home and do all the shopping. So, in this situation, we can only wait. What are we waiting for? Wait for the stores to close one by one. That's the reason for the difficulty of running a physical store business this year. A woman explained why many people were reluctant to consume before the Chinese New Year. Everyone is so poor this year. I didn't buy any clothes, and neither did my family. I only bought 2 pairs of shoes for the child. Now the weather is getting colder. We don't dare turn on the floor heating. We used it for 2 months last year and it cost $109 per month. Then I want to buy an electric heater, but the price is $300. I think that the floor heating has been installed. It might not be necessary to buy an electric heater. I can't bear to spend the money. I think over and over. I can't turn on the floor heating and there's no electric heaters. So it seems that we'll only rely on this small electric heater this winter. Now, many small companies have closed down one after another, and large companies are also laying off employees and cutting salaries. The most saturated positions now are probably couriers and delivery men. And now, Guangzhou has become a city with high consumption and low income. The consumption is relatively high, and an ordinary salary for an adult is not enough to support the entire family. So most men are working, and most women are also working. Both men and women, young and old, are all out to work. It's unbelievable how many employees the company is laying off now. The person has been kept with one salary, but his workload is as much as that of 2 or 3 people. Such an employee is under a lot of pressure and wants to quit, but he has to earn his salary, because they don't know if they can find better jobs after quitting. No solutions. People are forced to be working machines. Are you the same? You don't dare to go out shopping or eat out. Prices are rising rapidly. If going to the supermarket, you will shop for at least more than $27. Vegetables are much more expensive than meat now. When waking up in the morning, your mind will be full of the spending of the whole family, young and old. The expenses are very high and can barely solve the problem of food and clothing for the whole family. Not to mention the expenses of children's cram schools, buying clothes, family insurance, condo fees, and other miscellaneous expenses. Before the Chinese New Year, rural China was filled with a festive atmosphere, but now it's contrary to the norm. There is still half a month until the Chinese New Year. Do you think there is still a festive atmosphere? The whole village is so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. 30 years ago, at this time of year, you could hear the sounds of firecrackers, joy, and pigs slaughtering and yelling. Now what? What kind of New Year is this? There is no festive atmosphere at all. In China, Chinese New Year is a big day for every family, and people who work hard outside usually try to find ways to go back to their hometowns for the New Year. But with the economic downturn, going home for the New Year seems to be a luxury. Many people have their salaries cut and layoffs. Even those who have jobs choose not to go home for the new year in order to save some travel expenses. Did you come back to celebrate the new year this year? I didn't make any money this year, Mum. Try to settle the bill with your boss, and you can come back to celebrate the new year right after that. Mom is waiting for you at the house. What should I do? Unemployed. The Chinese New Year is coming. What should I do? Really, I am unemployed. How are you guys? Do you know how many people in Weifang City have lost their jobs this year? Where do those without jobs go? Do you notice? Now the streets of Weifang are all full of delivery boys and DD drivers, and it's said that this market is overcrowded. The number of orders they receive every day is very small. People who used to earn around $1,000 a month now have their wages cut in half. Why? The root cause is that the current environment is not good, right? Many small businesses have to close down because they lose too much money. One netizen said, "The air conditioner in the department store is not working anymore. It's going to close." Another batch of people are being laid off, and Beijing Wangfujing department store is also going to close down. The Chinese New Year is just a half a month away. This year, a large number of people in Shenzhen may not dare to go home for the holiday. Why do I say so? Everyone has witnessed the economic situation in the past 2 years. We work in the real estate industry and come into contact with people from different sectors. The most common phrase heard is that it's hard to make money this year, business is hard to do, and payments are hard to collect. Homeowners are worried about mortgage payments. After experiencing this wave of house prices falling, some people sold their apartments to have the cash not even be enough to repay the bank loan. You are actually working for the bank, and you won't be able to save much money working for the whole year. If you encounter a black-hearted boss, your salary may not even be enough to deduct. Especially for those who are working in engineering now, it's really a bottomless pit. For physical businesses, many factories have moved to Southeast Asia or abroad, and those that remain in China are all competing to reduce prices. In order to keep their factories and retain workers, some bosses have to take orders that have no profit, no money, or even at a loss. This is just a helpless move. In recent years, the Chinese have started to compare themselves with each other when visiting relatives during the Spring Festival, which has caused headaches for many people. The fear of having no money is like pigs that are afraid of being killed for the New Year's dinner. Now, when I think of the Chinese New Year, I am more scared than pigs. Pigs are worried about losing their lives during the New Year, and their fears are only once in their lifetime. But my fear is once every year. In the past, the Chinese New Year was about family reunions, but now it's about competition. When we were in childhood, we compared the scores. When we grow up, we compare the income, who had a better apartment, and who had a better car. I've been comparing for more than 30 years, but I have never won. To what extent has the Chinese economy deteriorated? Many Chinese should have a better feeling when facing the Chinese New Year. Many people are lamenting that this year should be the saddest Chinese New Year in history. But in the eyes of the Chinese Communist Party leader, it's a different picture. In his New Year's message on December 31st, 2024, Xi Jinping said that China's economy in 2024 has shown a recovery and positive trend. He also predicted that GDP would exceed 130 trillion yuan. When it comes to the problem that China's economy will be in a state of internal and external difficulties and the economy continues to downturn, Xi simply mentioned it lightly by saying, "We are facing some new situations and there is uncertainty in the external environment." Professor Hong Jingfu of the Department of Political Science at National Cheng Chung University in Taiwan told VOA that Xi Jinping said in his congratulatory message this year that he wanted the Chinese people to live a better life. But many Chinese people actually feel that their lives are getting more difficult. Wages, unemployment, constant closure of physical stores or social violence, hostility, etc. Hong Jingfu pointed out, "I'm afraid he is living in a parallel political and economic time and space." Overseas netizens commented, "She's personally commanded, personally deployed, personally reversed, all unfinished. The terrible trend is promised. 2025 will be another year of acceleration. The trend can be seen from the epidemic that the bad side of this system will not be exposed until the last moment. It's so out of touch with reality, and the key is that she himself may not want to know." That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.